guys, Ollie the Tea Guru here. Long time no video. I thought I'd do a quick one on one of these samples I've just got through from Guangzhou. This, if you're lucky enough to read Chinese, this is a wild Lapsang Souchong. Lapsang Souchong is a black tea from Fujian province, specifically Wuyi region in Fujian province. I've got a couple of Lapsang Souchongs in stock at the moment. They're both wild Lapsang Souchongs, unsmoked. The first one is a pre-spring picking. A bit more expensive. It's called the Forester's Choice. What you'll notice with the pre-spring picking, the leaves are very small. The taste is extremely pure. The texture is lovely and smooth. It's a lovely pure Lapsang experience. The next one is from the same area, the same stock if you like. It was picked slightly later in spring. The leaves are bigger. The flavour is more expressive. So it's a good, these are two good teas to try next to each other and see the difference actually in picking, pre-spring and normal spring picking. This particular one is also an unsmoked Lapsang, wild. Now, on opening the packet, the first thing that got me, it's still here, off the dry leaves, is a very expressive aroma of cinnamon. And I'm interested to see if this cinnamon aroma is going to transmute into the wet leaves, which I'm sure it will, and hopefully the flavour, because this is really interesting. So I have some water ready at 90 degrees. Small amount of leaf, really, just for testing. And you can see at the moment what I'm rocking on my mini tea table. I'll go through that in a minute. Let's have a look. So that cinnamon aroma isn't as strong in the wet leaf aroma as it is in the dry leaf aroma. I think that the original aroma I'm getting off the dry leaves was a little bit misleading. So Lapsang kind of, you could say, has a cinnamon kind of flavour. It's kind of there. I mean, it's not like the aroma's muted, because it really isn't. It's a strong aroma. I'd say off the dry leaves, I'm getting a very strong aroma of cinnamon. But on the wet leaves, the cinnamon is probably around 20 to 30%. The rest of the aroma being sort of berries, and that signature kind of Lapsang aroma you would sort of be expected to smell. But very, very good. The liquor looking quite bright and lovely. Let's get rid of this wash. So this is an old Buddha. I originally sourced from Yunnan Sourcing. Now, when I first got this Buddha, it was the sort of Buddha that changes colour when you throw hot water on it. Alas, whatever resin they've used to make this beautiful Buddha, the colour changing properties have vanished, but we're still left with this beautiful Buddha. This is a lovely piece of crystal that I believe was left to me by my mother. I think this is probably quartz or rose quartz. Next up on the tea table, we have one of our little lucky piggies. So I sourced this in Guangzhou, probably on my first or second trip to Guangzhou. I sold these in store. They've all gone now. Really, they come as a kind of a trio or a quattro. You're supposed to get 3 or 4 of these little piggies, and they all have different markings on the back of their head, if you like, and you're supposed to keep them together. And I kind of didn't want the other ones. I just wanted this one. And the teaware seller wasn't very happy with it, but he let me take all of these ones. So fair play. What is this? I believe this is a piece of volcanic stone that I bought from Taiwan. Yeah, I believe that's what it is. Next up, we have our tiger eye Buddha. I think we still have some of these in stock, actually. I bought a few of these from a guy on the street in Hong Kong. Well, it wasn't actually on the street. It was at a temple, and he had a few. It was I think it was a New Year celebration, and there's lots of vendors in the temple, and I really like these. These are all hand carved. Yeah, I think they're under a tenner if you want these, and they are in stock. Next up, we have another little baby Buddha. This again was my mother's, and I thought this may have been ivory. So I did a little test. Let me try and find the test. Where is it? I think it's here. Yeah. The way to test if something's ivory or not is to get a hot pin, and if it's ivory, it won't sort of go through. But unfortunately, this is some form of resin, so the hot pin made it through the surface. So, oh well, it's not ivory, but it is a beautiful little Buddha in any case. What else have we got? Okay, this is, I don't quite know what it's doing on my tea table. This is a teacup that was given to me by a very dear friend. This is from Madeira, actually. A lovely little hand-painted teacup. I've never used it. I just use it for decorative purposes, but very nice indeed. Okay, so I'm going to heat up the kettle again, get it on point, and we're going to try this lovely Lapsang. Well, I hope it's lovely Lapsang souchong. All right, hot water is ready. Let's add to the leaf. Right, are you ready for another shameless plug? This is one of our recent additions to the site. It's the Tea Guru Gaiwan. I actually do 3 different types of Gaiwans now. I do a 60ml, 100ml, and 150ml Gaiwans. 2 of the highest capacity Gaiwans are Tea Guru branded. This is the 150. I think it's the most beautiful out of the 3. The 100ml is still very pretty, obviously a little bit smaller, tiny bit cheaper. These Gaiwans come in at a very good price. I believe you can get the 60ml Gaiwan for £4 something. The 100ml Guru branded Gaiwan for about £5.85, and this one's coming about just over £6 somewhere. So, you know, fairly decent quality, and of course branded up with your favourite tea vendor, Tea Guru. Okay, so really interested to see what this one tastes like. Colour coming through a lot deeper than the wash. So let's discover together if this tea makes the Guru mark. A bit hot. All right. So this particular tea is not from the same stock, the same area as the other 2 Lapsangs I have in store. Taste-wise, the texture's, I wouldn't say thin, I wouldn't say smooth. It's in the middle somewhere. Flavour is fairly delicate, especially, well, it's the first infusion. That cinnamon, Lapsangy cinnamon is really poking through nicely. It's more of a sort of thirst quencher, I'd say. It's not a sort of big and rounded black tea like a Yunnan. No way. I mean, Fujian province black teas are always sort of thinner, less rounded, but I think are sort of really good in their sort of bright black tea flavours, if that makes any sense. Lapsang's being no exception. So yeah, first infusion coming through, that sort of Lapsang cinnamon, a bit of berry, light, delicate, bright tasting, good. Okay, round two, I'm gonna leave this in for a little bit longer, considering there isn't a lot of leaf in there anyway. Try and get a bit more flavour through, just to sort of help me analyse this tea a little bit better. All right, so while we're waiting, what's been happening on the Guru site since since there's been a void of videos the last few months? What's been happening? We've got a lot more teas in, especially if you're into oolongs. Taiwanese oolongs, I've got some GABA in. The GABA's insanely popular, and I think is an extremely good tea, and interesting just in its, not just in its flavour, but also its feeling, because it's, I wouldn't say it's like cha-chi that you can really feel a GABA tea, but it just chills you out, maybe even subconsciously. It has an effect, and you know, scientifically has been proven to have an effect with the body, and especially the mind. Effectively, one of the things that GABA tea does, it actually stops your mind getting too excited, which for me, who you know, when I was young I had ADHD, apparently I must still have ADHD, organisational skills and patience are not one of my virtues at all. And also dealing with stressful situations, I can kind of go off the handle and just you know, get angry and stressed. But the days that I have been drinking my GABA, I have just been more tranquil. I wouldn't say that I'm kind of, you know, zoned out and you know, like drugged up or anything. You don't notice anything like that at all. I just feel less stressed and more relaxed and more just take things in your stride, you know. So I'm really happy to have found this GABA. I mean, there are different types of GABA as well. So we've tried a few different GABAs, and this one that I've got in really hits a spot. The flavour is very expressive and very booming. It's more expressive and more expensive than the others we've tried. So I had to pick that one, and I might get a cheaper GABA in the near future. I mean, by cheaper, I mean maybe sort of 20% cheaper, something like that. It's not going to be as expressive. It's still a decent drop, but I had to get this particular GABA in as my first one because I thought it was an exceptionally good GABA tea. All right, round two. I wouldn't say that things have perked up as much as I might have wanted it to for the second infusion. I'm getting slightly more astringency, which is fine because the astringency levels on the first infusion was extremely low, if even negligible amounts. The second infusion now, it's there, 3 out of 10. You know, I kind of pushed it a little bit, and very acceptable. And you know, some would argue, many would argue, you need a nice little bit of astringency to kind of make a black tea, to give it that rounded character, if you like. So yeah, bit of astringency. The flavour hasn't really shot up at all. I think this is going to be one of those teas where you're going to get a similar level of flavour running through the infusions until it starts to sort of peter out, which is fine. Okay, left to gather my thoughts at the rear end of the second infusion. I can tell you that the texture has actually improved. So more soft, more of a soft texture, which I'm very happy for. I'm very happy for, because a wild tea, a wild black tea, you'd hope would have a nice texture. And yeah, looking good. Infusion 3 now. As well as the GABA, we've got a bug bitten oolong. Now, if you tried the last bug bitten we had in stock last year, this one is a different beast. It's not the same stuff. It's very different. The main attraction to this bug bitten is that the bitterness. Man, have you ever bitten into a grapefruit before? Well, yeah, the bitterness is well, if you want to push this bug bitten tea out, it's a bit like that. You know, I wouldn't say super crazy. Well, okay, if you're gonna push out this tea, yeah, it's gonna be super crazy bitterness. So be respectful with it. 5 to 7 to 10 second infusions. Go easy, and then just sort of build it up to your taste. But when I say grapefruit, I mean grapefruit. The bitterness is exceptional. Really, really tasty. So the Taiwanese bug bitten oolong also in stock. Just to say that I also have uploaded some other Taiwanese oolongs. We've got the higher grade Dong Ding back in. We've got Li Shan Dong Ding back in. We have 2 grades of Tigunyam from Fujian province, the definition and the higher. Also, do you like sandalwood? I really like these. I'm thinking about getting these in stock. They're really cheap. Sandalwood bracelets. They've got a beautiful aroma as well to them. I've never really heard anyone describe sandalwood aroma before. Successfully. I don't think I can do a very good job of it either, but it is very nice aroma. It's not Mysore. Mysore sandalwood is generally regarded as the best. The best, well, I that's debatable. It really is. There are other sandalwoods from other areas that are different. Mysore is especially sought after. Mysore sandalwood has a sort of buttery, deep flavour. Aroma. This sandalwood is Indian. It's not Mysore. Mysore sandalwood is now 100% protected by the government. So, if you are getting Mysore from India, the trees from which the wood is taken from will not be older than 30 years generally. If you want old Mysore sandalwood, you have to find it from wholesalers that have been lucky enough to hold back a load of old stock. You know, if you can find 50-year-old Mysore sandalwood from maybe a Chinese wholesaler, you know, it's going to be expensive. I'm potentially going to buy in some Indonesian sandalwood. They do 2 types of sandalwood. They do 50-year-old sandalwood, and they do 100-year-old sandalwood. The 100-year-old sandalwood is pricey. When I say pricey, I mean, see this bracelet here, okay? Now, if you want to buy a Mysore sandalwood, no, if you want to buy a Indonesian 100-year-old trees bracelet, maybe 2 to 3 times bigger than this, a wholesale, you're talking around about £200, $250. Right. This one here, you know, if I'm going to get these in, I'm retailing these for somewhere between sort of £6.50 and £7. Yeah, so you can see what I'm saying. Have I smelt sandalwood from 50 to 100-year trees? No, I haven't. Will it be worth its money? I'm not sure. Yeah, more of the same here, Infusion 3. I mean, you know, this is one of those teas that just sort of, you know, some teas will sort of go up very quickly, and or if it's gushu, it will slowly go up, have a level, and then sort of like start to drop off. Maybe other things will come up before it sort of drops down. This tea was kind of up like this straight away, and it's just going along, just petering along, and most likely it'll just die down slowly. A nice refreshing number. This is a sort of tea that just, you know, I have an infusion, I want another one. I have an infusion, I want another one. It's thirst quenching. All right, infusion 4. So I've just checked the price on this little sample, and it's coming in as quite expensive. If I had to retail this, sorry, let's put that again. If I were to retail this one, I have to price this up as probably 20% more than the Forester's Choice that I've got currently in stock. I think the Forester's Choice kicks this one's ass, to be honest. It just goes to show you know, you can try different stuff, and you just got to make your choice, right? Do I think this has a place in my store against or with the other two Lapsangs? Yes. I kind of put this in between the two. I've got Wild Charm and Forester's Choice. Forester's Choice being the early spring picking, and Wild Charm being the normal spring picking. I kind of put this one in between the two, in the it's the texture's kind of in the middle, the flavour is kind of in the middle, the pure nature of the tea is kind of in the middle. The flavour is the price, however, is not in the middle. It's kind of high. Bugger. Anyway. Let's talk incense a little bit longer. So I've just had a receipt of a parcel. I now have a fresh 2019 Royal Green Hajari back in stock, as well as a new offering, which is brown Sakra. So Royal Green Hajari being nearly the best Hajari frankincense you can get on the planet. There is a grade or two higher than that. Brown Sakra has a different scent. Of course, it's brown. It's not green. We can go into a long video on why these different Hajari are different colours and how they're harvested, and the aromas you can expect off them. I mean, that's a whole video in itself. And that's in store. I've also got some resin coming in. Gaharu Baya from Indonesia. It's a type of agarwood. Well, you could say it's agarwood. Some people describe it as a very affordable agarwood, the cheapest agarwood you can get. Other people describe it as not even agarwood. Okay, it comes at a very good price. It's called Gaharu Baya. Bayu, meaning crocodile. So agarwood or crocodile agarwood. The reason why, the reason why it's called crocodile agarwood is because in Indonesia, where this stuff is pretty abundant, wild agarwoods, they go into the swamps, the crocodile-infested swamps, to attain this wild agarwood. And it's truly wild. I mean, this stuff is pretty abundant. There's no reason for them to sort of lie about it. So if you want to snap some of that off my hands, you can get that. It's going to be in store maybe in about 6 weeks. Also, Palo Santo, have you heard of that? That is a type of incense from a wood in Peru, also neighbouring regions of Peru as well, Ecuador and other places. The the stuff that I've sourced comes straight from Peru, and I've got two types. I've got one type which is the normal wood, and you can use it as a smudge stick, so you just burn the end and it will start to smolder, and you just burn as much as you want, and then naturally it will just go out if you want it to. So one is the normal wood and the other one is heartwood. Close to the best Palo Santo you can acquire, and look out for that. That'll be on the site probably within a week. It's getting to me. A couple of danchongs now. The insanely popular Cape Jasmine danchong, spring 2019 harvest, and the spring 2019 harvest duck shit aroma. Both in stock. Both in stock. Snap it up. Okay, a couple more items just landed. Day 8582 raw. This one is a 2012. That'll be up on the site. It should be up on the site by the time I do this video. I've got 2011 7572 ripe, and also slightly cheaper little cake. This is a low-level brand, 2014. Material uses 2013. This little cake will be up on the site around the £20 mark. Okay. Right, that concludes what's up and new on the Guru site and what we've been doing recently. I hope you enjoyed the video. Rate, comment, subscribe, and of course, until next time, happy cupping.